Today we're going to talk about healthy eating, and we're going to start with the food groups. What are food groups? A food group is a collection of foods that share similar nutritional properties. There are 5 main food groups: meat and fish or proteins, carbohydrates, milk and dairy products, fats and sugars, and fruits and vegetables. It is important that we eat enough foods from each of these food groups in order to achieve a balanced diet. What is a balanced diet, you ask? A balanced diet is one which includes regular intake of enough food from each of the food groups. The recommended portion of each food group varies. Eating a balanced diet will ensure that your body receives all the nutrients that it needs to stay healthy. A balanced plate. This pie chart shows how much of each food group is needed to maintain a healthy diet. Why should we eat a balanced diet? Food and drink is the fuel that our bodies use. We need food and drink to give us energy to breathe, move, and grow. There are so many different foods out there that we are given a choice daily about what we eat or don't eat. Our bodies can only be as healthy as the food that we give them. It is important that we eat a variety of foods so that our bodies can get all of the nutrients that they need. We should try to balance our diet so that the portions that we eat are similar to the pie chart we just saw. What are calories? Calories are the units which the energy of food is measured in. Different foods are assigned a calorie content depending on the ingredients within them. We should eat a certain amount of calories each day. The recommended amount depends on our age, size, and whether we are a boy or a girl. Overweight or underweight? We all have different body types, and no 2 human bodies are the same. It is important that we maintain a healthy weight for our body type. Eating too much food can result in a person being overweight. Equally, eating too little food can result in the opposite. A body cannot work completely effectively if it is overweight or underweight. Now we're going to look at some of the food groups. We're going to start with meat and fish. Meat and fish are foods we eat that come from animals. Meat and fish can be eaten as an important part of our diets. They contain proteins which our body needs. Protein is good for our bodies because it helps the body to grow and to repair itself. Other sources of protein. As well as eating the meat of animals, we also eat animal products such as eggs. Eggs, beans, and nuts are all good sources of protein. Protein helps our bodies to stay healthy. Our muscles and organs are mainly made of protein. Which meats do we eat? Meat includes lamb from young sheep, beef from cows, pork from pigs, and poultry from birds such as chickens or turkeys. Depending on the place that someone lives, other animals may also be used as meat sources. A butcher prepares the meat so that we can buy different cuts depending on how we plan to use the meat. For example, different parts of a pig are used to make sausages, bacon, and pork chops. The better quality the meat is, the more expensive it will be. Pork meat can come from several places on a pig. This is a diagram showing the different cuts of pork. You can eat pork head, pork jowl, pork shoulder, pork hand, pork ribs, pork belly, pork leg, pork loin. Healthy proteins. To have a balanced diet, we all need some protein. Some sources of protein are better for our bodies than others. White meat and fish have a much lower fat content than red meat. It is better to eat white meat and fish more frequently than red meat. Unhealthy proteins. As with all foods, the way we cook meat can affect how healthy it is. Food that is fried is not as good for us that is grilled. The amount of fat in a cut of meat can make it less healthy too, as can the addition of other foods such as salt. Bacon is an unhealthy protein, not good for your heart. Fried chicken strips and chicken nuggets are not good for your heart. Fried bacon has a high fat content and contains a lot of salt. Processed meat. Processed meats are meats which are not in their natural state. Usually other things have been added to them. Processed foods are generally not very good for us, so they should be eaten in small quantities. Ready meals such as lasagna, chicken casserole, or fish pie often include processed meat or fish. It is always better to cook your own foods from scratch when possible. Vegetarianism. Some people choose not to eat meat at all. They are called vegetarians. People who decide not to eat any animal products are called vegans. Vegetarians and vegans must make sure that they still have plenty of protein in their diets by substituting meat with other protein-rich food sources. Beans, lentils, and pulses are sources of healthy proteins for vegetarians. So for our meats and proteins, we have beans like pintos, kidney beans, sausage, we have beef and pork. We have bacon, which we know is unhealthy. We have chicken, and we have black beans. These are all our sources of protein. And for our proteins, we should eat 5.5 ounces a day. Next, let's talk about carbohydrates. Bread, pasta, potatoes, and foods made from grains are all high in carbohydrates. Eating carbs is good for our bodies because it gives us energy. It is important that we eat enough carbs, but eating too many can result in a person becoming overweight. The human body converts carbs into energy so that we can breathe, move, and do exercise. If we do not use up all of the energy that is put into our bodies, the energy stays in our bodies and is stored as fat. If this process is repeated often, then a person will start to put on too much weight. Which carbs do we eat? Grains are small, hard, dry seeds from plants. Oats, wheat, and rice are all grains. Foods containing large amounts of grains are high in carbs. Rice is usually cooked or used to make rice products, such as rice cakes or rice milk. Breakfast cereals are made using grains such as oats and corn. Flour. Some grains are ground down into flour. Flour is used to make bread and pasta, which are both foods high in carbs. Bread comes in many forms and can be savory or sweet. Pasta is used in savory dishes such as lasagna and spaghetti bolognese. Healthy carbs. Foods high in carbs contain starch, which our bodies need. The right amount of carbs should be eaten as part of every meal. Healthier foods are the foods that have been made using the whole of the grain rather than only part of the grain. Brown bread is healthier than white bread because it is made using whole grains rather than only part like white bread. Unhealthy carbs. Some carbs are less healthy because foods such as sugar and fat have been added to them. Pizza makes a delicious treat but can be high in fat and have a high calorie content. Cakes, donuts, and biscuits are high in sugar and fat and should not be eaten too often. These are all not good for your heart. French fries are not good for your heart. Chips contain a lot of oil and fat. The potato is a vegetable but is classed as a starchy food. The way that potatoes are cooked determines how healthy they are. Jacket potatoes are healthy because they are baked and still have their skin, which is the healthiest part. Be careful with toppings though, they can be high in fat. Breakfast cereal. Many of us eat breakfast cereals as a healthy start to the day. Breakfast is a good time to eat a meal high in carbohydrates because a person has the whole day to burn off their energy. Some cereals, however, have a very high sugar content, so choose your breakfast carefully. So for our grains and stuff, we have bread and we have oats and oatmeal. Also pasta and potatoes. Those are all carbs and cereal. Now we're going to talk about milk and dairy products. Milk is a white liquid produced by mammals to feed their young. It contains high levels of protein, fat, and calcium, all of which our bodies need to develop and grow. Most of the milk that we drink comes from cows, but the milk from many mammals is safe for human consumption. Milk can be drunk on its own or used as part of another drink. Milk is often used on cereals and can be used to make other food products. Dairy products are products which have been made using milk. These include cheese and yogurt. Cheese is a dairy product. It is produced in special factories and can take quite a long time to make. There are hundreds of different types of cheese. Cheese can be eaten alone or used as an ingredient for other meals. Yogurt is a dairy product. Natural yogurt has a sour taste, so yogurt is often sweetened before it's sold. Butter is a dairy product that is made using the fat content of milk. It can be used as a spread or as a baking ingredient. Healthy dairy. Milk and dairy products contain protein, which helps our bodies to grow and to repair themselves. They also contain fat, which is good for our bodies in moderation. Milk products are a very good source of calcium, which is a mineral that helps to keep our teeth and bones strong. Unhealthy dairy. Dairy products include more ingredients than milk alone. The addition of foods such as sugars can make the product unhealthy. Milkshakes, ice cream, and sweetened yogurts are not good for your heart and should not be eaten too often. Farming milk. Selling milk is a big business. Dairy farmers keep dairy cows especially for their milk. The cows can be milked by hand, but on large farms special machines extract the milk. The milk is then prepared by different machines before being bottled for use. Milk from other animals. Whilst most milk in the UK comes from cows, it is perfectly safe to drink the milk of goats or sheep also. In other parts of the world, different native animals are used for milk. Water buffaloes are the main source of milk in South Asia, and reindeer milk is popular in northern regions of the world. So some dairy products we have are sour cream, eggs, cheese. We have milk, yogurt, lots of dips like French onion dips and things like that. Butter is a dairy product. We're going to talk about fats and sugars. Fats and sugars are not good for your heart. Our bodies need a small amount of fat to maintain a healthy diet. One source of fat that we can eat is animal fat. Sometimes the animal fat in our food is visible, but it is also found in many foods which we may not expect. For this reason, vegetarians and vegans must be careful when choosing their food. Animal fat can be used in all of these products. Cooking oil. Oils are fats that are obtained from plants. Cooking oils such as sunflower oil, olive oil, and vegetable oil come from plants. We use these oils to fry our foods in. Sometimes oil is poured onto salad or used to dip for bread. Sugar is sweet substance which comes from plants. Some foods such as fruits are high in natural sugars. Other foods have sugar added to them. This sugar is gone from plants such as the sugar cane or sugar beet and is treated to remove any impurities. We call this sugar refined sugar. It is added to foods to make them taste sweeter. Some sugars are more visible than others. We know that there is sugar in sweets and fizzy drinks, but even savory foods like soups can contain refined sugar. Flavored yogurt, pasta sauce, and even dried fruits have sugar added to them. Healthy fats. It is a misconception that all fat food is bad for us. We need fats in our diet to keep us healthy. Fats give us energy to keep our skin and organs healthy. The healthiest fats are natural fats that occur in fish, nuts, fruits, and vegetables, like avocado and salmon. Unhealthy fats that are not good for our heart. Too much fat in our diets, however, can make us overweight. Saturated fat is a type of fat that is not good for our bodies. High levels of it can be found in a lot of processed foods such as cakes, pastries, pizzas, and pork pies. Chocolate cake and pizza both contain unhealthy fats and are not good for our heart. Healthy sugars. Some sugar in our diets is good because sugar is carbs which gives us energy. As with fats, the healthiest sugars are those which occur naturally in foods. Sugars in fruits and vegetables are better than added refined sugars. Unhealthy sugars. We need to be careful with refined sugars which are added to foods. Eating too much sugar will result in weight gain. Another big problem for those who eat too much of any sugar is that it is bad for our teeth. So some oils and sugars that are unhealthy. We have popsicles, we got vegetable oil and canola oil. We have ice cream, olive oil, and we have cake, and we have brownies. Now let's talk about fruits and vegetables. Looking back at the portion plate, you'll notice that the proportion of fruit and vegetables that should be eaten is one of the largest of any food group. You may have also heard of governments advising people to eat a certain number of portions of fruit and vegetables every day. Fruit and vegetables contain important nutrients that our bodies need. These include vitamins and minerals that help keep us healthy. Fruits and vegetables also have low fat content and contain only natural sugars. Fruit is a botanical term. It describes the part of a flowering plant that holds the seeds. Vegetables is a culinary term, and many of the vegetables that we eat are in fact the fruits of the plant. Courgettes, for example, have seeds inside them, which actually makes them a fruit. Other vegetables that we eat are part of plants. When we eat leeks, we are eating the stem of a plant. When we eat cabbage, we are eating the leaves of a plant. We tend to think of sweet-tasting plants part as fruit and savory-tasting plant parts as vegetables. Which fruits do we eat? The list of fruits that we eat is extensive and depends somewhat on the country in which we live. The climate of a place will determine which fruits grow there. That said, modern exportation of food means that we are easily able to obtain fruits from other continents. How do we eat fruit? Fruit is versatile because it can be eaten raw or cooked. We can eat the flesh of the fruit, which can be soft or hard. Some fruit skins are edible, whilst others we peel away. Many fruits can be pressed to make juices. Which vegetables do we eat? As with fruit that we eat can be determined by where we live. Different plants we need different weather in order to grow. For this reason, vegetables are also seasonal. The more variety we can eat, the better it is for our diet. Vegetables can be eaten raw or cooked, though we tend to cook them out of preference. Raw vegetables are actually better for us because cooking removes some of the nutrients. For this reason, it is better not to overcook vegetables. Vegetables can be eaten alone or mixed with other ingredients to make delicious meals. Fruit and vegetables are very good for us. The properties in them help to keep our organs healthy and help us to fight diseases such as heart disease. Research suggests that they may even help to prevent cancer. Fruit and vegetables should be eaten every day and as part of every meal. They generally have a low calorie content, so you can eat plenty as part of your daily allowance. They also contain lots of fiber, which is needed to keep our digestive system in good shape. Unhealthy fruit and vegetables. The only reason that fruit and vegetables may be considered unhealthy is in the way which they are prepared. The apples in apple pies, for example, are mixed with sugar and pastry, making them more of a treat than a food. More of a treat food than an everyday one. There is a large amount of sugar in foods such as jam too, and in fruit juice. Whilst natural sugar is better for us than refined sugar, it can still cause problems for our teeth if eaten in too large a quantity. Some food packaging can be deceiving, as it tells you the amount of nutritional fruit in its goods, but not the amount of added sugar. So real quick, some fruits we have are mango, watermelon, lemon, kiwis, and oranges, plus bananas, apples, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. Some vegetables we have are carrots and squash, zucchini and bell peppers, broccoli and tomatoes. We also have spinach, green beans, and corn. What about drinks? Drinks play an important role in our diets. It is important that we drink enough liquid every day. Drinks help keep our bodies hydrated. The more energy that we expend throughout the day, the more liquid that our bodies needs. As with food, some drinks are healthier than others, and drinks do need to be counted as part of our calorie allowance. Which drinks are best? As with food, the more natural a product is, the better it is for our bodies. Water is the base of any liquid and is most healthy in its natural form. Milk is also good for us. Other drinks, however, often have a lot of additives, so we need to be careful. Milkshakes and energy drinks should only be drunk occasionally. And that's all we have today about eating healthy.